Ginger in the Ginger Chat Show, and it's Friday, April 28th, 23. It's really kind of nice outside. It's 68 degrees. They think it's going to get up to 70 today, but we'll see how this goes. There's really no clouds in the sky, so. But if you hear like a train horn or anything, we have a train station down here, so you might hear that. Anyway, I hope all is well. Texas is getting hit by a real nasty thunderstorm, especially the West Texas area, the hill country. So they're getting hit, and I understand some parts of Florida is getting hit as well. And they're keeping an eye out for tornadoes. Mother Nature's been playing rough the last few weeks, so they got another month and a half when tornado season ends, pretty much. Hey Nancy, good seeing you. Anyway, happy Friday to those that are still working, and to those that are not working and just enjoying retirement, like I'm enjoying mine. And keeping an eye on the idiotic things that are happening in the House, and not so much the Senate, but the House. And McCarthy still doesn't get it, how things really work. He's the wrong person for being Speaker of the House, or anything. I loved Nancy when she was Speaker. She ran a tight ship, and she put those that need to be put in their place, she put in their place, and those that, did their jobs, and that's what she did. She allowed them to do their jobs. But I feel people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and a couple of the other mega rat idiots, are impeding their fellow reps from doing their jobs. That's my feeling on this. Anyway, yesterday, former Vice President Mike Pence testified in the January 6th grand jury hearing, and I don't know all this said because everything's under seal right now. Yeah, I know. And with MTG kicked off the one committee, he should put his foot down. MTG go, you know what? You keep this up, you're going to be given the boot. I don't know what is it with people. Hey Dorothy! Hi! How are things in Florida? Outside of DeSantis being an idiot as he is. If he wants to keep a good major employer in Florida, he needs to leave them alone. That's what he really needs to do. And I'm glad Disney's going to be filing a lawsuit against him. And they should. They should nail him for that. Anyway, Pence did state that he was frustrated with Trump explaining to him how this works when the peaceful transition is over. And he says, all it is a ceremonial job. It's not a real thing, and the count and everything else. I was doing by what the Constitution says. And, what you were trying to do is basically breaking the law. And I don't think Pence really likes Trump all that well, more than anything. Nobody likes him. And the other day I was watching Minus Touch, and he who shall not be named was up in New Hampshire doing his spiel on his campaign, and the crowd was really tiny, really super tiny. And so I think a lot of people are just dumping he who shall not be named, and there's maybe like 15-20% of the followers. Very, very, very small. And the others have not started their campaigns yet because it really doesn't start until like July or August on the campaign. Now, with President Biden, who declared his candidacy, he's just setting things up for now. And that's what he's doing. He's just doing the preliminary and everything. So he's trying to fit everything in his schedule because he's still trying to clean up the mess that he who shall not be named did. So I'll be glad when Trump is indicted again. And I hope this time they'll throw him in the pokey. They need to stop playing around on this and treat him like everybody else who breaks laws like this, be thrown in jail. He should not be left out on his own reconnaissance, and he should be in jail and be sitting there until trial comes. So, on the other thing too, Federal Reserve Janet Yellen they're still investigating. The SB, remember earlier this spring of the SBC bank failure thing that happened in Silicon Valley? They're still investigating that as to why it failed. And he says why those employees or the upper echelon is not following the Federal Reserve rules and the FDIC rules. Why that happened and what happened. And there's been some indication, I read somewhere, that many of the CEOs and upper level executives were taking the money, which they really had no business of doing. So they're still investigating that, and it's still ongoing. So we should find out more later. Let's see. Now, in the debt ceiling issue, of course, you know, McCarthy wanted to do cuts on almost on everything, and people are telling him that's not a good idea. It really isn't. Because people are still trying to recover from the pandemic. More and more people are retired or on disability. They need all the help they can get. And McConnell was saying, which McConnell said, no, you should have left everything alone and just pass the debt ceiling and move on to this and stop extending the debt ceiling deadline. What they should do is have the debt ceiling set up for until after the next presidential elections in 2 years. Then set it up where it's every 10 years on the debt ceiling, because things go up and down all the time. You know, things change, and people were explaining to McCarthy everything's all paid for anyway. You just have to raise the debt ceiling and just keep an eye on it. No cuts or anything. Because right now, as of right now with the debt ceiling, everything is already paid for. For why McCarthy can't get it through his thick, stupid skull. somebody should head slap him on that. Like, hey, it's already paid for. What part you don't get? You know, even AOC was, she said he's being stupid, and she doesn't really like him, and I don't blame her. I don't like him either. I think Hakeem Jeffries should be Speaker of the House. And of course, you know, there's a number of GOP there that are not mega rats. Many of them are just regular, moderate, or liberal GOP that work across the aisle with their counterparts, work with them. But there's a lot of mega rats, and there's some mega rats in there that are acting like 6-year-old brats in a schoolyard and doing schoolyard politics. And that's kind of interfering with their counterparts' jobs. And you don't want to interfere with anybody else's job. You work on your own. And, of course, earlier this week, MTG got thrown off the committee. The, National Security, what's it called? Very powerful committee that handles the national security. She got kicked off that because she was being very rude, very confrontational to the director, national security director, and to the Homeland Security. Thank you, Nancy. I'm kind of tired this morning. Yeah, Homeland Security Committee. And she got kicked off from that because she said a lot of derogatory things. And the chairman, who was a GOP, he told her, he said, that has no place here. You treat them with respect, and you ask respectful questions, and you stop interrupting. Let them answer the question. So anyway, we'll just have to wait and see how that really goes. Oh, Nancy, not Nancy, Dorothy. There is a rocket that will be launching Cape Canaveral within an hour. We'll see how that goes. If they have to delay again, they have to delay again. I got some of these storms bouncing around in the South and the Midwest. So, have a rocket launch today. But anyway, with the debt ceiling. I don't know why we have a debt ceiling. I have to keep raising it. Because everything's paid for anyway. There's got to be another method. And keep on kicking it down the road for deadline. It should be, debt ceiling should be reviewed every 4 years. Yeah. Anyway, debt ceiling is reviewed every 4 years, right? When the president comes into office. Not in the middle of the term, end of the term. And they should change that. And no more kicking it down the road. It should be 2024, then 2028, or every 8 years. You know, the things change so much, and things change rapidly. And then speaking of, which also involves banks, I don't know if you, hey Pete, hi, how's it going? Have you guys heard that Wells Fargo is closing some of the branches across the country, the bank branches? They're shutting down some here in the Pacific Northwest. They're shutting down one branch in Bellevue, which is up north of me. It's up that way. They're shutting that down. I don't know if they're shutting down any others here in Spanaway or here in Lakewood. So keep an eye on that. But I don't bank with them. I bank with the credit union. Credit union, when you're a member, many don't know this. If you're a member of a credit union, you partially own the bank. You're part owner of that bank since you're a member. And they rotate their president, I think, every 2 years of the bank. In other words, the employees are on a rotation basis. So anyway, there's some banks that are closing. There's some that are opening new branches. Now, the only one other bank that's closing down, but it's opening a brand new branch. I think it's somewhere in Southwest Washington. One of the banks that's there had to move out because the building was having serious structural issues, and they were afraid, next time we have an earthquake or something like that, that people might get hurt. So they moved into a brand new building, which is a smart move on their part because you want to protect your assets. So there's some companies I can understand them that they don't keep up and maintaining their assets. And when they don't, it falls apart, and they sit there and they bitch and they complain and go, well, it's your fault because you didn't keep up maintaining it more than anything. And of course, as usual, he who shall not be named has kept yapping his mouth. He keeps yapping and yapping and yapping and yapping, and he didn't understand what part of shut up means. And the judge over in New York who's handling the E.G. Carroll case, he said if he keeps that up and doesn't shut up and doesn't stop bullying people, he will enact a criminal charge against him. And in other words, they should slap a gag order on Trump. Oh yeah, he'll get in trouble for that. Okay. I'll tell you a little story. This is just like 3 months before I was born. I was born here I was born here in McCoy Air Force Base, but my parents lived here in Lakewood. There was a gal that was next door neighbor that kept harassing and swearing and everything. And anytime my older sister went out to play and everything else, she kept bothering my sister, and it got to the point where Dad had enough. Okay. He went to a lawyer, a base lawyer, on base to a lawyer and told him what the problem was, and he goes, oh, yeah, okay, well, we'll slap a gag order on her. And if she doesn't shut up, then there'll be other measures like jail time. Well, it turns out that couple rented the home and next door. My parents were renting, and not by the same owner, but by two different people. And the owner of that house heard about what happened. He told her, if you don't shut up, if you don't stop bothering them, I will evict you. Well, they're like some people who just don't listen or don't learn. She was evicted. and forced to move to somewhere else. And Mom and Dad were so glad that she was gone. Well, after I was born, uh, 6 weeks later, we moved to Alaska, up in Anchorage, and so after that, we were on base, and we didn't have problems like that. So, you know, like in any neighborhood, there is always a bad apple in that neighborhood. Um, always a bad apple. Never perfect. So, but he will probably get in trouble for that, for not shutting up. And he's not there at the trial where that's where he should be if he wants to fight this. Well, he's letting his lawyers do it for him, but his lawyers, they're doing all the wrong stuff. And E.G. Carroll has such strong evidence against Trump on this that I think he's going to lose. He's going to be found guilty of rape and defamation. And I hope there's severe penalties for him on this. Because if he's found guilty of that, especially the rape portion, then he would have to register as a sex offender. Which means the federal thing, and he could be not allowed to run for office, where he shouldn't be allowed to run for office anyway. Same way with DeSantis. DeSantis is basically ignoring Florida law, Florida state law. He cannot run for president until after he finishes his term as governor. Or he elects not to let's say he elects not to run again. Well, he's on his second term now, and so he should not be allowed to run for president. He would have to wait until 2028 to run. But I feel sorry for Florida. They have a lousy governor. There's some other governors that are lousy in other states, and I feel sorry for the people there. It's not the people's fault. It's solely on their governors. Now, I'm very lucky here. I have an excellent governor here, Governor Inslee. Anytime, for example, we have a severe storm coming in, he just puts out a thing and says, FEMA, tell everybody to batten down the hatches and hope for the best. And hope nobody's hurt. I remember not Dixie Lee Ray, one other governor we had. Governor Gregoire, when we had that inauguration day storm, she kept abreast on everything. Well, communication in some parts were kind of cut off. And so we said, well, use ham radio and keep in contact that way and direct emergency services and FEMA go, well, that's a cool idea. Okay, well, we'll have ham radios on standby just in case things don't work. I'm sorry, my nose itches. So anyway, okay, well, I'm going to sign off early. Cyril's asleep. I gotta feed the cats their lunch. Oh, that's my problem. Sorry. Weather changes in my nosebleed. Keep an eye on it. Anyway, I will see you on, let's see, check my calendar real fast. 1 minute. Okay. I will see you on Monday, May 1st. Time as usual. Same time, same station type thing. And be sure to insist, persist, and push back. And check out Midas Touch too, because they're very well informed. They have lawyers and everything else to walk you through layman's term process of how things work, what they can and cannot do. Not everybody has full knowledge of the law and procedures and things, rules that they have to go through. So check that out. I will, guys, and you too. Please stay safe from all the storms. Please, pretty please. It's going to be a wild weekend, if I understand from the National Weather Service. Anyway, I got to feed the cats their lunch. I got to feed me my lunch. And I'll see you guys on Monday, and I'll probably see you guys on John's Blue Dot family meeting. Unless something comes up. Because I understand John's having some internet issues. So, hope it's not too bad in San Antonio area. So, Corpus Christi. Okay, I will see you guys later. I love you all. Again, be sure to insist, persist, push back, and make voting a priority. Okay? Talk to you later. Bye-bye.